So only 25 years difference. We have a pretty incredible ability to change the world around us. But of course, some of the impacts we have aren't predictable at all. Does anyone want to shout out, guess what this is? Come on. Any guesses? A nest? So this is a nest that was found on the roof of a building in Tokyo, a crow's nest, where the crows had innovated because there weren't enough twigs and branches from trees around. They'd actually started stealing coat hangers from people's washing lines to use for the structure for their nest, which is ingenious of the crows, but it's actually also pretty depressing. Here's another example. Anyone guess what that is?
Panel de abejas.
Bit louder? Yeah, so honeycomb. Okay? So this is the beekeepers in this particular field in the south of France. Pulled this honeycomb out of a beehive a couple of years ago, found all these crazy colours. They don't show up particularly well on the projector, but there's oranges and blues and greens. And they wondered what the hell was going on. How did their honey turn out with these rainbow colours? And it turns out that bees had found a much more efficient source of energy than flowers. They found the waste behind M&M's factory a few miles away. Now, the harvest was ruined because unless you're 5 years old, you don't want to put that on your toaster. Okay. Another example. That's the contents of the stomach of one dead zebra that was found. And in fact, it's projected that there will be more plastic in the sea than fish by 2050, by weight. And of course, it's not just about the natural world, it's about society too. This photograph, when I first saw it, I thought it was 100 years old. It looks like the start of the Industrial Revolution. But this is actually Beijing 2 years ago. Okay, look at that air pollution. Air pollution, last year air pollution killed 5.5 million people prematurely. This is Sao Paulo. We see similar situations of social inequality with just fences between the haves and the have-nots in cities all over the world. This is a group of people trying to get to Europe from Syria. We all know about the problems in Syria. What's often not talked about is what started this. Now there have been problems with the Assad regime for ages in Syria, for many years. But what tipped it over the edge a couple of years ago? Well actually, it's more extreme weather brought on by climate change, which caused the harvests to fail in all the rural areas of Syria. So everyone moved to the city, and the population of the capital of Syria doubled in a year. That had a pressure cooker effect, and of course we are where we are today. So even things like climate change are already starting to affect us hugely. This is a video that always freaks me out when I see it. It's easy to talk about statistics doing what we do. It's easy to talk about numbers. You sometimes can't get your head around the numbers. But one of our biggest challenges is fresh water, and the amount of fresh water we need for agriculture, energy generation, and so forth. If you take all of the water in the world, put it in a ball, it looks like that. But that's all the water. What we need, what most life needs, is fresh water. That's the fresh water. Okay? But most of that is locked up in glaciers, permafrost, the Arctic region, and so on. The available fresh water is that. Now you don't have to look at the numbers to understand that that little dot is quite a lot smaller than that big ball over there. And we're going to be joined by another 2 billion people over the next few decades. That's starting to look like a resource that we've got to be very careful how we manage. We saw a variation of this slide yesterday. Scientists have just, a couple of weeks ago, voted on creating a new era in the history books called the Anthropocene. basically all the eras in history, mainly geological, have now been joined by this new one, which starts around 1950, which is when there is a very noticeable record in the natural world of human effects on the planet. It's also been called the Great Acceleration. Basically, on every meaningful social and environmental measure, we're now hitting the limits of what the planet and society can take. We need to do things differently. Okay? We need to do things very differently. Excuse me. And we heard yesterday from Ernesto talking about hacking culture. We can do things differently. He gave some fantastic examples of young people who are thinking about problems in a completely different way. We also heard about the possibilities for innovation with the story from Leonardo about New York 120 years ago, when New York was covered in horse shit, basically, before the invention of the motor car. Actually, it's amazing to think how far the Americans have come. So 120 years ago, New York was covered in horse shit. Wind the clock forward to